My prediction actually for humanoid robots is that ultimately there will be tens of billions.
All right, as we know, the grift never ends, and Elon Musk is in Saudi Arabia this week with Trump and some of the tech billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman. They're obviously going there to do deals. It's all about the deals, investment money, no doubt, from these big pools of oil money that have built up there, the sovereign wealth funds and so forth. And Elon Musk is giving this interview. It's basically sales pitch, but the numbers and the predictions get bigger and bigger over time. He's looking for new places in the world to do his grift. So I'm going to react to some of this interview. So let's get straight into it.
We just showed to His Royal Highness some of your Optimus robots.
Yeah.
And to President Trump.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Tell me about them.
Yes, so we just showed several of our Tesla Optimus robots to His Highness and President Trump, and I think they were very impressed. In fact, one of our robots did the Trump dance, which I thought was pretty cool.
The YMCA, yeah?
Yeah, to YMCA. So yeah, our robots can dance, they can walk around, they can interact.
Okay, so I've got some of the video. This is not from the conference, but he put it up on X and other influencers. The evangelicals put it up too. So they've got the Optimus robot dancing. It kind of looks like to me that it's teleoperated or very programmed movements. He said that they interact, but this is not interacting. It's like the Wii Robot event where they had, teleoperators. There's no talking here, but let's just have a quick look at it. They've got a dance routine. I have to say that some of the humanoid robots I've seen from China are more advanced than this, much more advanced than this. But it's not bad that where they've got to from the dancing figure that they had at first to where it is now. But is this teleoperated? Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think this is program movement, teleoperated? It's certainly not autonomous yet. And it's a bit of a gimmick, the dancing. I think that I'm not against humanoid robots at all. I think that they will be useful in certain situations, definitely in factories to begin with, if they can get them going in factories, and that's the plan. But this is a bit of a gimmick, and Elon Musk talks about just how many robots he thinks there'll be, humanoid robots. Thinks everyone will have one in their house. I don't want one in my house, especially not from Elon Musk or Tesla. I mean, it's another surveillance device and hugely integrated into lives. I think it's going to be a long time. But the numbers that he thinks there are going to be over time, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Listen to what he says.
I think we're headed to a radically different world. I think a good world, an interesting world. My prediction actually for humanoid robots is that ultimately there will be tens of billions.
Tens of billions now. I think first he started off at a couple of billion, and he said that they're hoping for thousands this year, although in the earnings call or in the earnings that they had last, they had this kind of set up in the factory, and there were 4, and he says thousands this year. His predictions are notoriously wrong, but people still seem to believe them. But now he's saying tens of billions. So there's about 8 billion people on the planet. I mean, does he think that everybody's going to have multiple robots, or are some companies going to have thousands of robots? I don't know how he gets to this, but he's talking like in a domestic sense. He thinks everybody's going to want one. Frankly, I don't want one in my house. Do you? Let me know if you think that you would want one of these.
I think everyone will want to have their personal robot. You can think of it like as though you had your own personal C-3PO or R2-D2, but even better.
But better.
And who wouldn't want to have their own personal C-3PO, R2-D2? That would be pretty great.
So he bases his grift on movies, sci-fi movies like Star Wars. We've all seen Star Wars, Star Trek, and he misunderstands Star Trek because this is the biggest capitalist in the world, and he talks about Star Trek, the technology on that. But if you watch Star Trek, there's no money. It's like a world that has gone beyond money. And do you think that if he actually ends up colonizing Mars, building Mars, do you think it's going to be a society without money that he starts there, that he controls, or is he going to be like the Lord King of it, and it's going to be a capitalist environment? I think I know the answer to that.
And I also think it unlocks an immense amount of economic potential, because when you think of like what is the output of an economy, it is productivity per capita times population or capita. Once you have humanoid robots, the actual economic output potential is tremendous. It's really unlimited.
Okay, so here we have to keep in mind that, okay, Trump's there, he's there with Trump. Trump is saying that they want to bring manufacturing jobs back to the US, more jobs in the US, and Elon Musk is almost saying the opposite here. I mean, yes, the robots are going to be built there, but he also talks about the robots building the robots eventually. So, where the manufacturing jobs, if they're going to be literally tens of billions and supposedly millions upon millions in years to come, where are those jobs going to go? It's almost the opposite of what Trump's saying, although they're closely aligned here. Something doesn't add up here if Elon's vision actually comes to reality.
Potentially, we could have an economy 10 times the size of the current global economy where no one wants for anything. Sometimes in AI they talk about universal basic income. I think it's actually going to be universal high income.
Okay, so he's going to be a trillionaire. It's projected that he's going to become the world's first trillionaire. He, as I said, he's like the ultimate capitalist, and he's saying that it's going to be a universal high income. Does anybody really believe this? That these tech billionaires, these center billionaires, he's going to be a trillionaire? Do you think that the people like at the bottom, or like from the so-called middle class down, are going to have a high income when they're not going to have to do anything because there'll be so much money and the economy will grow so much and robots will do everything? Will it work like that? Has capitalism worked like that in the past? Is it going to be different in the future? It's a classic selling the future on this kind of utopia, but really, is that what it would be like if Elon Musk was at the top in charge of this and making these robots? Do you think so?
Where anyone can have any goods or services that they want. Now, there obviously are some risks, which illustrate perhaps if we don't do this right, you could have like a James Cameron sort of movie, Terminator.
Or could it be also from the financial point of view that we have these, center tech billionaires or trillionaires at the top and everybody else is struggling and maybe gets poorer and poorer? Is actually going to happen? So who owns all these humanoid robots that do all the work? I mean, this just doesn't add up to the way that Elon actually works and lives, right? He's at the very top and he doesn't really care about people. In fact, he's been going into government with Doge and cutting programs, cutting actual benefits to people, not caring about that. So is this suddenly he's going to change and everything's going to be utopia and everybody's going to be rich?
We don't want that one. But having sort of a Star Trek future would be great, where we're out there exploring the stars, discovering the nature of the universe, and a level of prosperity and hopefully happiness that we can't quite imagine yet. So I'm very excited about the future.
I wonder when this is going to happen. Remember, he said if you go back in time about his predictions, he said that he would have got to Mars by now. It hasn't happened. In fact, his Starship hasn't even orbited Earth yet. Have you noticed that? And the last few ones have blown up. He's iterating, but spending a lot of money on iterating. The most payload that has got that's supposed to go to Mars is a banana, and they didn't show it coming back down. I'm sure it got absolutely fried in the current Starship that they've got. So his timelines, he's just selling this future that is so far away. He's getting the money now for a future that won't exist for a very long time. But he's saying that it will be soon, next year, like FSD, like Robotaxi, which they do talk about here.
With robotics, but also on robotaxis. So how are we doing on robotaxis?
So really you can think of a car or future cars as being robots on four wheels. And, I think it would be very exciting to have autonomous vehicles here in the kingdom.
Indeed.
If you're amenable.
You heard it here from Elon. He's bringing his robotaxi to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Talk about XAI.
Absolutely. But I should want to mention also.
Okay, before they get to that, I mean, robotaxis. My video yesterday was about how the safety watchdog, the highway safety watchdog, is asking questions of Tesla because they don't seem to know much about the plan for Austin, the rollout of robotaxis, even though it's supposedly just weeks away. They've got some big questions about the safety, wanting Tesla to prove that it's safe. And it's shocking that they haven't been talking properly. They haven't been going through this until now. It makes you think that this is not actually going to happen in a few weeks because the safety authority doesn't even know much about it. And it's a good excuse for Elon to say, well, we're ready to go, but the regulator isn't quite ready to go, but we'll have to see what happens.
Something that may be worth considering is tunnels.
The boring company.
I have this company called
The tunnels, he's been talking about this. That's been a failure. Like there's one tunnel in Las Vegas, or is it two, that has not autonomous cars going through it. It's people actually driving through it. And I think Thunderfoot went there and videoed, and there's like cars going through with no passengers, driving, just a lot of waste. And tunnels under cities, how far has that got in the time that he's actually been doing it? It's been a failure.
The Boring Company, which sounds kind of boring, but it literally bores tunnels. And actually, tunnels, in order to solve traffic, you really need to go 3D with roads. And by using tunnels, you can essentially create like a wormhole, like a warp tunnel from one part of a city to another and alleviate traffic. And we've actually already done this proof of concept in Vegas. So there are working tunnels in Las Vegas.
It doesn't go from one side of the city to the other. It goes like underneath a car park, which you could just walk. It's just a proof of concept. It's a very small thing, and nothing much has come of this, even though he said we've got, verbal agreement. I think he said from like Washington to New York and stuff like that, but nothing's happened. It's just one of these grifts that where nothing has actually happened anywhere in the world except for Vegas, where they've done that one prototype ages ago, and nothing else has happened since then.
Can use where that'll just, it feels like teleporting from one part of Vegas to another. So I always say that, my joke is like tunnels are underappreciated. Not always a hit, but so
he's so unfunny. Make comedy legal again, and then when comedians make jokes about him, he hates it. So it's free speech. Comedy's legal again, right? But he just hates any jokes about him or any criticism about him.
Yeah, and then XAI is just trying to solve general purpose artificial intelligence. The goal with XAI is to have a maximally truth-seeking AI. And it's important to be a maximally truth-seeking AI in order to understand the universe.
Mm-hmm. But again, he does not like it when the truth-seeking AI goes against him. Look at this. Why Elon Musk is furious and publicly raging at his own AI chatbot Grok. Elon Musk's AI chatbot Grok thinks that The Atlantic and the BBC are credible, reputable sources for news and information, which is funny because Musk, who's engaged in a years-long project to erode trust in legacy media organizations and even specific journalists, doesn't. And now he's furious at his own AI chatbot. He doesn't like some of the answers, and this is what they were talking about here, where people have been asking Grok things that Elon's been saying all the time, and it's been contradicting him. It's a propaganda platform for Elon here, and he doesn't actually like the truth-seeking nature of it. Grok says, I understand your concerns about the article's claims. The Gates, Soros, and Ford foundations do fund NGOs, including those supporting DEI, but there's no evidence they hijack federal grants or engage in illegal, fraudulent peddling. They operate with private funds, not federal. And so Elon's been spinning this line. Remember, when he was trying to sway the election in Wisconsin, the judicial election, he was saying, that the protesters are paid by Soros. They're definitely paid by Soros. And, so there was protesting inside the venue, and he was saying, say hi to George for me. And, saying all this crap. And it's just not true. And look, he says, oh, this is embarrassing when Grok goes against what he's saying.
So the goal of XAI is understand the universe, to understand, what is out there. where's the universe going? Where did it come from? What questions? In fact, I think maybe the biggest thing is, what questions do we not know to ask? Like, once you know...
Okay, so this is from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like he's got all his teenage books about, AI asking the right question. If the answer is 42, but you've got the question wrong, so go and find out what the question is. Getting all this stuff from his teenage years sci-fi, including robotaxis, which were in the Total Recall movie on Mars, the Johnny Cabs or whatever it was.
The answer is usually the easy part. So the goal of XAI is to help understand the universe and yeah, that's the goal. Yeah. And help people answer any questions along the way, of course. But
of course, and make a lot of money for Elon Musk along the way. So do put your money into XAI, invest in it. And in failing X, he probably wants people from this part of the world, organizations, funds from this part of the world to invest in X to help save it because they need new injections of capital. And now seems to be joining with XAI that will help, and Grok's big part of that, of course. And that, of course, that will end up in the cast too. All right. So what do you think of this? Let me know. It's all very political there, that he is with Trump in Saudi Arabia talking about this stuff, and they're all trying to do their own specific grift because they know there's lots of money there. And speaking of politics, by the way, if you don't know about the politics channel yet, I've just started it. There's been 8 videos there. Yeah, I'm doing more political videos on this channel too. Why not? I want to expand it out. But do subscribe to this channel. I'll put a link in the pinned comment and in the description, as well as on Spotify on the video there. Yes, there are videos on Spotify. So if you're watching there, hi to you over there. Do appreciate you. And right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a related video there. Do go and see that now. Put related videos in the description as well. And a subscribe link on screen. Do subscribe if you want to get more of these kinds of videos in the very near future. I do them daily during the week. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.